both live field the site for this week's All-Star festivities. My name is Lauren Gardner, host and reporter for MLB Network and Apple TV+, and it is my honor to be your master of ceremonies for this year's press conference. This is an All-Star game that features 38 first-time All-Stars, including the guy to my left, and the game continues to get younger and more exciting as we have 22 All-Stars aged 26 and younger. But we also have some experience in this game, including the guy to my right, Bruce Bochy, who will be managing in his 5th Midsummer Classic. Bruce, welcome. It must be nice to stay home for this one.
Thanks, Lauren. Oh, it is. It's nice. Although I'm staying in the hotel, I'm not staying home. It's always an honor, to be part of this. It never gets old, trust me. So I'm grateful, thankful, and I look forward to, meeting a lot of guys here and trying to beat Tori here.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be some friendly competition in tomorrow's game. Can you please announce your starting lineup and, of course, your starting pitcher?
Yeah, starting pitcher is Corbin Burns. He's not here right now. He just had twins a couple weeks ago. He'll start the game. My lineup is Stephen Kwan. He'll be in left field. Gunnar Henderson hitting second and shortstop. Juan Soto will be in right field, hitting third. Aaron Judge will be center field, hitting cleanup. Rodon Alvarez will be DH hitting fifth. Jose Ramirez playing third base, hitting sixth. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be hitting seventh, playing first base. Adley Rushman catching, hitting eighth, and Marcus Simeon will be hitting ninth, playing second base. The toughest thing about this lineup is picking up the last two or three.
Yeah, that must have been a difficult decision. I'm sure you'll be getting some questions in the clubhouse tomorrow, but we can unpack that a little later. You just discussed the fact that Corbin Burns is home with his twins who are just 2 weeks old. What was behind the decision to give him the starting nod?
Yeah, a few things really. First of all, I think you have to look at the resume, what he's done in baseball. He's had an incredible career. This is his 4th consecutive All-Star game. What he's done this year, Baltimore, they're leading their division. He's a big reason for that. So, in my mind, it's just his time. It's his time to start an All-Star game. That's why I chose him.
I think that's reason enough. And to my left, the reigning NL champion manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Tori Lovello. Please announce your starting lineup and, of course, why you made the decision to go with the guy to your left.
Yeah, for sure. Leading off for us is going to be Ketel Marte, maybe a little insider training favoritism, right? He's our starting second baseman in Arizona. Kind of a no-brainer for me. Hitting second will be Shohei Ohtani as our designated hitter. Trey Turner will be hitting third as our shortstop, and he'll be followed by teammate Bryce Harper in the cleanup position, playing first base. Catching will be William Contreras hitting fifth. Christian Yelich will be hitting sixth and playing right field. Alec Baum will be hitting seventh and playing third base. Teoscar Hernandez will be hitting eighth in center field, and Jerson Profar will be hitting ninth and playing left field.
And getting the starting nod, Paul Skeens. His rookie year, hard to believe it was just over a year ago that you were the #1 overall pick in the MLB draft. Now you're starting the Midsummer Classic. Skip, what was behind the decision to name him as the starter?
Well, for me, it was consistently a no-brainer, and I was just trying to make sure that I hit the sweet spot and hit it right. I wanted to be situationally aware of some of the other great arms that were possibilities. But Paul's everything right about this game. You mentioned youthfulness. He just got drafted. Youthfulness in the All-Star game. It just, his ability to balance what he's had to go through over the past year has been amazing. He does it with humility, and he does it very, very well. So, to me, it became more and more clear as the day neared, and I couldn't be more honored to be sitting next to him right now.
Paul, first of all, congratulations and welcome. I know there was a lot of noise around whether or not you would be the starting pitcher for this game. Now that it's finally settled in, how are you feeling?
Pretty dang cool to even be in this position to be at the All-Star game in the first place, and just super grateful to be getting the opportunity to start it. So thank you, Skip, and yeah, super excited.
Yes, This game's just the 5th rookie starter to start in the Midsummer Classic. We would now like to open up questions to the media. Yes, sir, do we have a microphone being passed around?
Thank you. One for Tori and one for Paul, please. For Tori, how did you come up with the idea to reveal your starting pitcher? Was that inadvertent or a last-minute plan, improvised? What happened?
It was a combination of both. It was a last-minute plan that was certainly improvised. I've been in contact with Michael Hill. I let him know what my decision was the day before the announcement. And as I watched him deal and throw 7 no-hit innings, it became something I couldn't wait to tell the world. But Michael said, "Hey, let's do this. That he's going to be on the Dan Patrick show. Why don't you just butt in on their time and we'll just make it as fun and playful as possible." So Dan Patrick was huge. I was a big fan of his, and I was actually shocked he even knew my name. And I kind of had my 2 minutes with him. And Paul, it worked out perfect.
Thank you. And for Paul, I wonder if you have a memory or two of your days at El Toro, things you guys did for fun, and whether you thought you'd ever be sitting here, given that you didn't pitch a whole lot there until last year.
Yeah, I played baseball for fun there. No, it was, just being able to be in high school and play baseball was fun. Play with teammates and guys that I grew up with since I was 4 or 5 years old, being there. But yeah, I caught most of the time when I was at El Toro and started pitching really my junior year. Just had fun with it.
Looks like we have another question. Sir, do you have a microphone? Yes.
I have Paul, a year ago when you were drafted first overall, what was your sort of expectation for where you would be a year from now?
Yeah, it was pretty broad in general, I think. Just, the goal was to be in the major leagues and to be, hopefully an effective big league starter by this time, which is, whether that was going to happen or not. At the time, I had to make some adjustments and get better. That was a big focus of the offseason. Obviously, being here now, I think that's just a product of doing it one day at a time, having good coaches and good people around me. But yeah, I didn't necessarily think I'd be here.
I'm sure you'll also be throwing that slinker tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about how you learned that pitch and what makes it such a good weapon for you.
Yeah, I had a sinker grip that I was throwing last year at LSU and kind of started fooling around with it between when the college season wrapped up and when I was going to report to the complex after the draft, and just figured out a different cue for it. Started throwing it and got command of it. The last part of that was just throwing it to hitter and see how they react to it.
And it seems like the arsenal continues to evolve. Yes, sir? Or, yeah, sorry.
Hi, Paul. Your strength is throwing fastball. So, how many miles per hour do you want to throw this off the game?
At least 100.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a great question. You got to hit triple digits,
Yeah.
right? Yes, what?
Hey, so Caroline with House of Highlights, you're bringing a lot of new, young fans to the game that maybe didn't have the interest before, and it's awesome to see. You're getting a lot of comparisons to being the Wemby of the NBA. How does that make you feel? Thoughts, comments? Do you agree, disagree?
I don't know that I agree or disagree with that. I don't watch the NBA at all. I know who he is, but I don't know. I don't know a lot about him as a
They
player.
call him they think he's going to be a generational talent.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's it's an honor, but I'm 11 starts in, and here we are now, but hopefully there's a lot more time that I can play this game.
Thank you.
A lot of humility and team first mentality. Yes, sir.
How much of the history do you know getting from Strasbourg in 2010, putting them on the All-Star team, and then the matter of you starting Paul? I know you have background, but just turn background right now.
Yeah, I love the history of baseball, and that reminds me, I just want to give a shout out to my 92-year-old mom, who I know is watching right now. I love you, Mom. Thank you for teaching me the game the way you did. But I enjoy the history of this game, and for me, it's what makes it great and what makes it so special. And I was aware of some of the situation with Strasburg. The fact that he was named an All-Star and placed on this team made so much sense to me from the beginning. And then when I had a chance to make this decision, he was the early target, and I wanted to just make sure that the world got a chance to see him. We're going to be on the biggest stage tomorrow, and I am here to support and promote Major League Baseball the best way I know how. And, back to the question a few seconds ago, he is potentially a generational talent, and I want to give him every opportunity to go out there on this stage and show him what he can do.
Paul, you know the history perhaps of Strasburg, and a lot of pitchers are through with such high impact. You've got one guy that comes down, Jared Jones, who's on the IL. What are you doing to protect yourself? What are the Pirates doing to keep you healthy and doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, our trainer is at the All-Star game too, so he's pretty dang good. I think it's just a matter of learning the game and learning what works for you. There's going to be growing pains as you grow up in this game, not just now, but since I was started pitching in high school and college too. So I think just a matter of building a good base, being strong and doing everything you know is right, and then just letting it fall where it may.
In the corner.
Paul, piggybacking on that, given the fact that you didn't throw early, you weren't even to go up a pitcher, so that helped your arm. And what advice do you have for young pitchers who throw a lot of innings early to get it everywhere?
Yeah, the way that I kind of look at it is just building volume as a whole, and whether that's on your arm, your body, because you need it all throughout the course of the season. So I think, I grew up catching, and that's a lot of volume on your body. That's a lot of throws you're making too. So I don't know what the.
You say there's a torque difference, though. I mean, you're not, doing all that as a catcher. You clearly have a lot on that.
Yeah, I mean, moving right is I think the first part of that as a pitcher, just moving efficiently, moving healthy, and then figuring out how your body is and getting strong and mobility, like everything matters. So I don't know. I haven't thought too much about kind of the amount that I've been pitching over the last 6 or 7 years, just because that's kind of when, and before that also, because I've kind of just started pitching in the last 6 or 7 years really. But I think building volume on your body is important. Not like I might not be the best guy to ask for this, but that's kind of how I look at it.
Thank you.
Over here, when you go 7 innings without giving up the hit, what were you feeling about?
You want to finish the game. You want to be able to finish what you started, not just in that outing, but every game that you pitch. So, but obviously I'm a 22-year-old where I am, and the whole story I think has been about workload management and managing my volume this year. So, and then frankly, Shelty said that I looked tired when he was talking to me in the dugout, and as he was watching me, and that's kind of how I felt a little bit too. I was laboring. It was 60 plus pitches in the first 3 innings. It's there are going to be those outings. It kind of sucks that it landed on an outing like that. But I'm all for it if it means that I get to pitch all year.
Yes, right.
Hey, Paul, two questions. First, what was the one moment in your mind that made you switch from catching to pitching?
They stopped putting me in VP groups. I don't know, because I went to LSU and I stopped catching, but I was hitting still, and I wanted to keep hitting as long as I could, but the upside on the mound I think was a lot better than the upside hitting, so kind of gave it up, and I wasn't too broken up about it because we had the opportunity to win the national championship, and we ended up doing it, so I think it was worth it.
And getting back to the splinter, do you remember, did you just play with the grips on your own? Did one of the coaches help you? How did that process?
It was the grip that I was, how I was holding the ball did not change, but the way I was releasing it and what I was feeling as I released it changed a little bit, and I just kind of discovered it on one random throw, and then I just kept doing it, just kind of playing around.
So you were just playing around on your own, what in school?
Just playing catch.
Easy enough, I guess, sir.
Ana Carlos Vargas from the Estado Deporte. Who going to replace Carlos Correa and Luis Arraez?
Let me get the Korea question.
Yeah, Corey Seager.
Corey Seager.
Okay. Corey right now.
And Luis Arraez?
Yeah, at this point, I think we're neutral. We're not exactly sure. Last night when I talked to Michael Hill, we weren't sure if he was or he was not going to be playing, so we haven't made that decision yet.
Fluid situation. Sir in the front.
Hi, Dave Stevens with Your Home TV and the Geary Stein Stevens Show. And Bruce, we haven't left you out of this conference much, but I wanted to ask both you and Tori, do you get to manage very much in this, or are you like a little league manager and you got to make sure each kid gets to play? I mean, what are your thoughts going into this and dealing with egos and everybody that wants to get on into the game?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's a little bit of both, because you're trying to, get everybody involved. You want them to get some time in the game, but at the same time, you still want to go out there and try to win the ball game. No, it's not dealing with egos. These guys, they'll do whatever you want for this part. I'm lucky to be, this is my 5th time, and I've never had anybody tell me, I only want to do this or do that. Just tell me what you need. And so, it's a fun game to manage, but it is managed in a different way. There's no getting around it. You got to, be concerned about the pitchers, their pitch count. One important role that we have is to send a guy back healthy to his club, so we have to think about that too.
Yeah, I have all those answers. First of all, I'm actually honored to be up here. Coach is the managerial ability for sure. So the fact that I get a chance to manage against him again in this stage is an honor for me. And I'm honored to be your manager for the National League All-Star team. And my biggest responsibility is to make sure that everybody plays. They're here to play. They've earned that honor. And it probably gives me the most stress as to how to get everybody in there. I know there potentially could be a 9th inning pitcher that doesn't get that inning. I'm dreading having to figure that out, who that is. So there's a few things that give me stress, but I want to give everybody a chance to play. And I'm going to do my best to do that.
Quick follow-up for Paul. Do you miss that there's a DH now? Would you want to get your race in?
Yeah, that'd be cool. We've gotten a couple bats over the last few days. I mentioned to use a couple batting gloves too, but there's no helmet in my locker, so it's not happening.
Ben Sherrington and Shelton, that ain't gonna happen, I promise.
Yeah, they're at home, they're like, what? Yes,
Well, how would you say that you use your sinker for forcing fastball? Do you see it as another fastball option, or do you use it more for velocity separation the way you would maybe use a changeup but sort of just at a higher velocity?
Yeah, I call it a sinker. Everybody else, I think, calls it a slinker, but that's kind of how I view it. Is just having a different fastball, different shape, and kind of forces hitters to choose between, one or the other. So, yeah, it's fluid. I'll use it differently every single outing.
One quick clip for Bruce and one for Paul. Hey, Bruce, growing up on Army bases, your whole life, and your dad in the Army, what does it mean to you to have Paul pitch in this game, having served 2 years at Air Force Academy?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, when you have a guy that went to the Air Force Academy, and I've been there. I mean, what a beautiful place. I'm sure he learned a lot from there. I mean, he can answer a lot better than me. I'm sure on the discipline part and all that. But, being an Army brat, I have so much respect for anybody that's done anything with their service, their sacrifices that they have to make for this country. So it's pretty cool that he did spend some time there.
And Paul, for you, can you tell how excited the cadets are at Air Force Academy, and are you going to try to help recruit other kids to the academies?
Yeah, I think it's important to bring as many eyes as possible to the academies. I think you know, looking at my team, I was in my recruiting class at the Air Force Academy. I think I might have been the only one who sought out the Air Force Academy. Everybody else got recruited and kind of had to be convinced or you know, explained to them what the Air Force Academy is and what it's all about. So, which tells me that people don't know about it as much as they should. So, I have a couple of folks that are in my class from the Air Force Academy who just graduated that live around here that are coming to the game tomorrow, which would be cool. My coach is coming to the game tomorrow, and yeah, so it's exciting to be kind of labeled as an Air Force guy because that is such a big part of my background. I think obviously there's Griffin Jackson, the twins who actually graduated from the academy, but and then there are guys from the other service academies also that are in the big leagues right now. So I think it's important to bring as many eyes as possible to that, just so that as many people know about it and know about their opportunities as possible.
Yeah, hey, Bruce. What might be your plans for your relief corps, including Mason Miller, and what are your thoughts about him, and could he end up being your closer? Do you have another idea?
Yeah, Mike Maddox will be here later today, and we'll talk about the pitching plan. You have to have a map out, and you have to have guys getting up to maybe help guys who might be going through a stressful inning there. So as far as closing the game, it'll be, of course, Class A, but Class A's here, so he'll be my year. Trust me on that one. It's 9 innings that we have to be prepared to go through. So it's not like I can use a lot of guys. I need to save somebody in that 8th inning. So you can figure on him or Class A, depending on the score.
Yeah, Paul, first of all, do you like pitching in indoor stadiums? And also, if you look at the American lineup, who are you looking forward to facing?
I think I've only pitched in one indoor stadium, and I enjoyed it. That was my last time. I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know what the differences are. Maybe it's a little more humid or something like that. I'll feel it out today and tomorrow. Just kind of see where we're at. I don't mind being out of the 100-degree heat right now. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know that I have a preference yet. Looking at the lineup, yeah, there are no breaks there. There's no free outs. I mean, it is the All-Star game, but yeah, looking forward to attacking them each head on. It's gonna be cool.
It should be very entertaining.
Coach, I know there have been a couple of times this year when we've walked into your office after games and before games, and Paul has been on TV pitching, and you've stood up to watch those. I'm curious, like, what you think of what you've seen of Paul on TV so far, and then I have one follow-up.
What I think, he's a beast. I mean, that's the perfect stuff that he has, and I look forward to seeing him tomorrow. I'll say this: I mean, look at our lineup; it's as good as it gets. And I go back to '99 in Boston. I said the same thing. Pedro went out there and struck out 5 out of 6. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it's going to be really some great matchups early in the game with who he'll be facing. So I'm looking forward to it with the incredible stuff that he has.
And then one other thing is, how do you have a conversation with a guy who's hitting leadoff for you the last 250 games and say you're going to hit 9?
Yeah, I really avoided him right now. Seriously, I sat on the plane with him a little bit, told him that he'll hit 9. He'll probably get one at bat tomorrow. Try to split that up at second base. So that's kind of the thing in there. But I think, and of course, Marcus will do whatever. But he said, well, if you look at numbers, that's where it should be hit.
Very, very humble by Marcus. Jeff?
Tori, if Paul happens to have a quick first inning tomorrow, is there a chance that we can see him out there for the second inning?
Most likely no. We have 11, 12 pitchers to get through, and going back to what I just said, I want to make sure that we're fair to everybody and give them a chance to go out there and compete. So Brent Strong is working on that right now downstairs, and that's probably the hardest part of being the manager, in my early opinion, is trying to get every pitcher in the game. So I would love to. I'd love to watch it for 2. Actually, I'd love to tire him out enough so he can't make one of his next starts because it'll be against the Diamondbacks. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Paul, would you like to face Aaron Judge?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Well, I hope he does. At least one guy got on.
Stearns, yes.
Brendan Story, WFUV. Paul, I got a question for you. You have quite a unique warm-up routine between throwing the football around and using the water bags. How exactly did you develop that routine?
Just over time, just figuring out what works for my body and what I need to do to get prepared. Everything has a purpose in what I do for warm-ups. That includes what I do under the stadium too before I head out. So, yeah, it's just kind of a routine that I've developed over the past couple of years. It could change. It might not be the same thing tomorrow as what people have seen. Might add some stuff, might take some stuff out. It's just what I do to get ready to pitch.
Yes, front row.
This is more of a question for all 3 of you guys, but I know you said there were 37 first-time All-Stars, and factor that is a lot of the injuries this year, and it's great to see some players get the light, especially for Profar. I know there's a lot of young All-Stars that are new, but Profar's had a long journey. So for all of you guys, who's one player that you're looking forward to manage or play against or play with?
Good question. Coach, do you want to start?
Guys, I'm looking forward to being.
Yeah, first-time All-Stars, correct? So you're looking forward to managing.
Gosh, I hate to pick one guy out because I'm leaving some guys out there. I said it earlier, I'm just looking forward to getting to know all of them, get to meet them, watch them, and that's what's cool about this. Because you watch them on TV, or you play against them, you really have to know them. So I'll say across the board, all of them, I'm looking forward to just getting to know a little bit.
Yeah, I'll second that, but I feel like the guy I'm sitting next to was very intriguing to me. I'm just honored to be sitting next to him, and I was honored to name him our starting pitcher.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that I'm looking forward to most is just getting to spend some time with the other pitchers here and pick their brains and see what they have, what they're willing to share, and on what it takes to be a big leaguer for however long they've been here and how they have success and all that.
Yes.
Hey, Jordan. I'm curious, when did it occur to you that you wanted to be a big league manager? Kind of looking back on that, what does it mean to you to be here today?
Yeah, this is an absolute honor to be sitting up here, as I mentioned earlier, with this group beside me, and I get a chance to sit among the biggest stars in the game. And to me, it's going to be, one of the absolute baseball highlights of my life. I knew I wanted to manage. Probably in the middle of my career, I was out there sitting on the bench, paying attention to what the manager was doing. And you hear the story a lot from guys that were in my situation, right? Grinding out career, backup role, paying attention to every little aspect of the game. I'd probably say I was in my late 20s when I began to see the game differently and think through it as a manager. And then I had a gentleman by the name of Mark Shapiro, president of baseball operations for the Toronto Blue Jays, come up to me and say, "You got a chance to be somebody special in this game. I hope you consider staying in it when you're done playing." At that point, that kind of solidified for me, and that was probably somewhere in the late 90s that I made that decision.
What a pivotal moment. Do we have any more questions from our media members? Yes. We're bringing a microphone your way.
Paul, growing up, when you watched baseball on TV, what age did you start to think of, when I get older, this is how I'm going to get these guys out?
Probably last year. If anything, yeah, I never really thought about it that way, because I was, growing up watching the game. But kind of I would say probably around last year, was when my identity as a pitcher kind of really solidified, and how I attack guys and that kind of thing. But when I was 10, 11 years old, I don't know that I ever really thought about the game that way. That's been a fairly recent thing for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Barry, we have one more time for one more question. So Barry will be our
Of course.
It's appropriate, Barry.
It's appropriate. So for you and Coach, back in the old days, it was a lot more loosey-goosey about how you guys picked your starting pitchers and your staff. Now there's a complete process for it. How much these days did you get on picking players who are on your pitching staff, or did you get any at all?
No, the staff is big. Yeah. You're talking pitching staff, yeah, I was well chosen. As you said earlier, yeah, we had some saves to pick, some of the extras and some pitchers, but no, it's all done by MLB.
So
And the players vote.
In 99, was it still in the process when you got to pick some pitchers?
Yes.
How many did you pick?
Geez. I think I remember that, Barry. I'm guessing, if I had to guess 3 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, he answered it. I had nothing to do with it. Major League Baseball and the fans. The fans picked the original starting lineup, and then Major League Baseball picked it out the rest of the way.
So, but it was your choice to start ball, right?
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
All right, that concludes our press conference. A big thanks to Paul, Tori, and Bruce. You can now make your way to the outfield. The AL players will be available 140 to 225, while the NL players will be available 235 to 320. Thank you, everyone.